Last night I barely made shit and I was like, cool, whatever. Another day, another dollar. You feel me? But two bad nights in a row, I don't know when's the last time I've had a week like this. Like, I haven't had a night where I didn't make shit in like a very long time. Like, this is probably like the second night that this has happened where I didn't walk out of there with not even a dollar. And I was trying tonight. Everyone that I approached was like, oh, I don't do dances. I'll get a dance later. Whatever. Girl, I didn't make no money on stage. Only got on stage one time, but everybody I was approaching was not fucking with me. Like, I didn't make shit. It really wasn't a lot of people in there. It was a lot more than it was yesterday and Monday, but I didn't get lucky tonight.
Hey girl, and welcome back to Girl Talk TV. Today we're talking about the subject of midnight ballerinas not making enough money in the strip club. And a lot of them are saying that times back in the day are not times today. There's been a low grade of men coming into the club and not really making it rain like they used to back in the day. And these women that are midnight ballerinas are saying they're not able to pay their bills and or put food on the table.
And really quick, I just want to point it out, like, this isn't just happening to me or other black girls. Like, this is happening to a lot of other women in the club. Like, the lady who I'm really close with who works inside the club, she's telling me that there's girls leaving out of the club crying, like in tears, because they're not making money. They can't feed their families. So it's not just happening to me. It's happening to other women as well. So let's see what happens.
As a midnight ballerina, I believe we are going to start seeing a rise in survival sex work over the next few years. We are drowning financially right now. I'm hearing more conversations of people feeling backed into corners financially. A lot are working full-time and still struggling. Companies keep laying people off, and students are literally graduating from college as we speak. And what kind of job market are they entering? The kind that makes jokes about making an OF as a side gig because their current job isn't supporting their basic needs. We see this all over the comments. Maybe it's time to dance on the pole. Maybe it's time to sell feet pic. Maybe it's time to make an OF. This might seem like silly jokes, but humor normalizes this stuff before society begins to fully accept it. And this is happening at the same time that sex work is being glamorized everywhere. Look at how many shows today involve strippers, OF, webcam models, and the majority of the directors and executives behind these shows are men. So while we as a society are struggling to survive, mainstream media, largely controlled by men, keeps marketing hypersexualized survival and transactional relationships as beautiful, empowering, cinematic, and aspirational. A lot of women are absorbing these messages and internalizing them. Being broke and sexy has become marketable. And now we have an entire generation being constantly financially drained while simultaneously consuming media that frames monetized sexuality as glamorous and an easy path to stability. This was all once a world that was hidden underground and out of sight. But modern media has removed that curtain. Now we see influencers posting yacht trips, rich boyfriend content, luxury gifts, and traveling all the time. The line between influencers and sex workers is starting to get really blurry. Historically, during economic stability, sex work rises. People have to adapt to survive. And that's why the jokes online matter, because I don't think we're watching humor anymore. I think we are watching normalization in real time, and that's pretty scary. Stay safe and stay true to yourself as we enter these dark times. Follow our TikTok, Instagram, and Substack at Midnight Ballerina News for more.
There's a reason why so many dancers are telling new girls not to join the industry right now, and it's not from a place of trying to be discouraging or trying to be a hater or whatnot. It's just genuinely so different now. It's genuinely not the same in such a negative way. The economy is so much worse than it's ever been. It's so much harder to, and I'm gonna make a blanket statement that about 80 to 90% of the clubs, especially in big cities, are brothels now. Guys can come in and that's what they're paying for. Hosts are working with the girls, and that's what it is. That's genuinely, and that's not me shaming anybody or looking down on them, but it's like a lot of girls join the industry not realizing that's what it is. And that's really what you're going against now, especially in these gentlemen's clubs in bigger cities, right? And a lot of these girls that make oh, I made this much, it's because they're doing more. I promise you. It's not all of them, but a majority of them it's not just from dancing. I can assure you that. And like I said, it's not me judging anybody or putting them down or whatever, however anybody wants to make their money. But I just think a lot of new girls come into it naive, thinking, oh, it's going to be this one way. And that's not the reality anymore. The economy's bad. People are not spending as much. Girls are having to travel, girls are having to, maneuver and find new ways to make money, whatever it is. But it's not the time. I would say it is not the best time to join. And that's why people are saying that. It's not trying to be a hater or trying to be discouraging. It's just, why would you want to join? You might as well go chase your dreams.
I know that sounds funny, but that's always been a recession indicator. Someone sent me a video of a young lady who was, I'm going to use her term. She said she's a midnight ballerina. First of all, the rebrand to a midnight ballerina is absolutely hilarious, insane, and I am using it from now on. She says she's a midnight ballerina in Miami, and she's talking about the conditions of being a midnight ballerina in Miami, and speaking from the standpoint of she's not making a lot of money. She's used to making a certain amount of money, and she's saying the club is packed, but no one is throwing money right now.
So today's my third night here in Miami as a midnight ballerina trying to reach my $5,000 goal, right? So tonight, I'm not gonna lie, tonight was weird as fuck. When I say weird, I mean the club was swole. But when I tell you nobody was throwing money, it was the weirdest shit. Like, y'all, the club ends at 6 a.m. on the weekends, right? And I didn't make no money till 5 o'clock in the morning.
And I know that sounds funny, but that's always been a recession indicator. The underworld, when you stop seeing people spend money on midnight ballerinas, that's a sign that our economy is slowing down. And again, I know it sounds crazy, it sounds funny, but it's always it's something else I saw too.
It's that bad that when you have ballerina dancers looking for regular 9 to 5s, yeah, it's that bad. The first reason is simple. People have less disposable income. Rent is higher. Everything costs more. When people are trying to survive luxury, entertainment is usually one of the first things that get cut out. You have to cut out on it. It's not a necessary need. It's a want. So by default, a lot of this type of entertainment is not going to be in high demand. Especially, you also have to think about a lot of these entertainments do a lot of the entertainment at home. They work from home. They do OnlyFans, their webcams, showing off their feet, getting paid to send pictures over, and men pay for their feet. It's like these girls don't have to clock into no 9 to 5 midnight ballerina pole dancing. They don't have to. And then there's high competition in the strip club too. You have to think about it. You have all these guys in the club, but then you also have tons and tons of girls in the club, and they're all competing for the same exact thing, especially if there's a high paying client in there and they're all trying to aim for him. Like this high, steep competition. I think the problem is this. A lot of times, and people don't really talk about it, by me living here in Atlanta and having family members that actually worked in the club scene, if you ever watched the movie Players Club and know Dollar Bill was very shysty. You have a lot of club owners that are very, very shysty today, and they do rob from these girls. And a lot of time they have to, if not all of them, have to pay out to everyone in the club. They have to tip everybody. So by the end of the night, they're drowning down to like $1,000. You get what I'm saying? Like, so what yesterday years was in the strip club is no longer that today.
This is how I started saving for my emergency fund. I literally just took ones after every shift and put them in a bag. Once I would get 10 stacks of these ones, so $100, 10 of them, that's 1,000. I take it to the bank. I'm sitting outside of a bank. Get a bank account and put it in the bank. About to go in there and do that right now. They're gonna hate me. Okay, that was actually relatively painless. The teller was super sweet. The reason why I say
get a bank account 17 times is because if it's just laying around, if you're like me, I struggle with poor impulse control and also just general disorganization. Having the bank account just makes it a little more official. You deposit it, there's a record, you see it on your banking app, etc. Which leads me to my next piece of advice. Do with it what you will. I used to struggle with just then spending the money in my bank account. So I didn't really start saving my true emergency fund until I went and got another bank account, a high yield savings account. I've talked about this before. I use Ally. I don't have access to it in any physical sense. Like, it's all online. I literally have to transfer money from my Bank of America account to Ally, and then it just sits in there collecting interest, and it's there if I needed it. I don't know, let's just say I get really sick and I can't go to the club and I can't work for, a whole month, and I just need to use some of that money to cover my life expenses for that month. That's what an emergency savings is for. I started building it to 1,000, like I said, and then that 1,000 turned into 2,000, then 3,000, then it kept going. Basically, you want your emergency fund to be 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. So like rent, grocery money, gas money, bare necessity expenses that you would normally have to pay, 3 to 6 months worth in that emergency savings. Besides being there for you when you need it most, this will also enable you to have a easier time in the industry, because you will know in the back of your mind, if you're having a bad day, that you have money set aside. And you can start having better boundaries with your customers. You can say no to people. You can decide you're not going to do certain things that you don't want to do because you have money for your bills and stuff, in case, we have fluctuating income. So in case, something happens, you have that set aside. It's your safety net. Let's say you need to break up with your lame-o boyfriend and you have to start all over. You have that tucked away. Anyway, I made this for dancers because we get cash. If you're a civilian or a regular person that gets a paycheck, do it with your paycheck. Just start setting aside. You can even auto transfer. You can set up in your banking account to automatically transfer to another account, however often that you want it to. Say $10. It doesn't even have to be like a crazy amount. Just start with something so that you can give yourself some peace of mind. Hope this helps.
I just think we're in a different atmosphere today where people's priorities are a lot different. Plus, what's going on in the government. You can't really have fun with money like you used to have fun with your money. Today, you have to be very strategic and smart about where you spend your money and making sure that all your bills are paid and making sure that you have food on the table and then making sure that you have food on your table for the next day. Here's the thing. If the people that come in the club are not able to pay their bills and eat comfortably in their home, guess what? The strippers won't either. Tell me what you think down below. Until next time, bye.